Greetings. The Cowboy Spirit Radio Network presents another adventure in Arizona Roundup.
Welcome to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. My special guest this week is Sandy Griffis. Sandy lives here in Prescott Valley, just a close neighbor to Prescott, Arizona. She's the executive director of Yavapai County Contractors Association. And Sandy, we are so grateful for you to join our show today.
Stuart, I am more than excited to be on Arizona Roundup.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm not going to have to go rustle cows and bring in goats and donkeys and things, am I?
No cows or donkeys today.
Because I am not dressed for that today.
All right. Now, we can take this show on the road, and if you want to do that, we can take it out to a local ranch and we can get you right out there.
I am ready to ride and round up Stuart.
All right. Fantastic, Sandy. So, Sandy, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in Prescott, Arizona?
Stuart, I am so boring. I'm not quite sure what to say.
I read your biography. I don't think it was that boring.
I've been in Prescott since 1996.
All right. And what brought you, where did you come from? What brought you to Prescott? We all have a story.
I came from California. I was born and raised in San Diego. Dearly love that area, and it will always be a big part of my heart. Born and raised, went to San Diego State, college graduate, master, an Aztec, you bet, baby. And just a big part of my life and heart that I think everybody should have something to grab onto. And I landed here when I saw a job in a newspaper to work for a home builder. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I can build homes. I know how to muck dirt and create trusses and pour concrete. And they hired me.
Well, that's fantastic. So let's step back a little bit. I am originally from Southern California.
Perfect.
Grew up in the Los Angeles area where my father's business was. He was a writer and producer in Los Angeles. And so we both are growing up in Southern California. And I had the pleasure of coming to Prescott in Yavapai County quite a bit every summer because my dad went to Orem School, which is down the road here from downtown Prescott. And so I had this kind of dual life going back and forth from Los Angeles and our family vacationing here in Arizona. But we loved going down to San Diego. And what brought your family to San Diego? Was your father in the Navy? Was it his business? Was he a builder himself?
Dad worked for a very large contractor in San Diego, Nielsen Construction.
So it came naturally.
I think yes, let's say it came naturally. We'll forget the unnatural stuff. But I miss the smell of seaweed and the salt air.
Right.
And the tacos, the street tacos. And
so were you in downtown? Were you in San Diego proper? Were you out of town when you were growing up?
We were in Encinitas. Lovely place on the universe. And
kind
pretty
of
amazing.
North of San Diego on the coast.
Yep.
Well, that gets under your skin. You'll never forget the smell of the
seaweed,
of the ocean and the seaweed, right?
So now we smell cactus and creosote and all kinds of great other smells here in the desert.
Right, when the rain hits the desert, that beautiful smell of the summer.
But I do like living here. It's a great place. I love what I do, and it's not a job, Stuart, just like yours is not a job. We bounce out of bed every morning wanting to go make a difference.
Right, for sure. And tell me about how you got interested in building and contracting. I mean, did your dad take you on the job, or
It's a trade secret.
Ah.
Dad took me on jobs in an old panel pickup truck and taught me how to read blueprints and do takeoffs and understanding what footers were and trusses and how it all put together to make a house.
That sounds pretty lucky to me. It sounds like a pretty good childhood to me.
It was a wonderful childhood.
Yeah.
I think I'm still in it.
So what did they say when you got to college? Did they welcome you into the trade?
You know what? My college took a whole different turn, and I turned out to be a business major, a minor in music, and that's the end of that story.
Well, I bet you that majoring in business sure has helped you work with all these contractors all these years. Were you working with contractors like in California, like you are here?
Somewhat, but more so, I took a roundabout short trip into Florida for a few years and really grew my teeth and my nails and my biceps on building homes in Florida.
Well, I bet, because they get a few hurricanes through there, and sometimes they have to build more homes than they actually expected to.
So all is good. I'm happy I've landed here. And like I said, Stuart, just like you are, every day is a blessing. And if we can continue to make a difference, that's pretty awesome. Well,
thank you. I do have a question I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to take a short break. I was reading an interview of yours recently in Prescott Women magazine, and I love this line here. I have lived in Prescott Valley, this is Sandy saying this, for 15 years. And prior to that, I lived in the mountains of Prescott for 13 years.
I did.
Yes. And so when we come back, I want to hear about your mountain woman living days. All right.
Stuart, okay.
We're going to be right back with our guest today, Sandy Griffis, and we're going to talk a little bit about building homes and living in the mountains in Prescott, Arizona. Since 2007, Pinion Painting has been transforming homes and businesses with over 40 years of first-hand experience. They bring superior craftsmanship and an eye for detail to every project, making your vision a reality, hassle-free. Your time is precious. Trust Pinion Painting to get it right the first time. Visit Pinion Painting today and let them transform your space. On the web at pinionpainting.com. That's pinionpainting.com. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. And my special guest this week is Sandy Griffis. And at the break, we were going to come back and talk about your time as a mountain woman here in Prescott. Tell us a little bit about your adventure when you first came to Prescott.
Stuart, I'm sure it's what everybody experiences, and I know you did as well. When you drive into Prescott and come down into the courthouse, does that not take your breath away?
It sure does, every time.
And it's like, oh my gosh, this is where I want to live. This is where I want to plant my feet and grow my roots. So I did the same thing. And you fall in love with the pine trees and the smell. And I bought a log cabin way up in the mountain club on a peak and lived there for many years, being what I do call a mountain woman, because I had to chop my own wood and I had no washing machine. I had to go to a laundromat, and I think I did scrub clothes on a washboard. No garage. I had to walk home many times from the bottom of the hill home because of the snowstorms. The wildlife was amazing. But then I wanted a garage and a dishwasher and a garbage disposal and a washing machine and a fireplace. So I became a city woman.
All right. Well, I have a feeling you're pretty darn tough, and you're not going to take any guff from any of those contractors out there, and because you've lived it and you've walked it.
I have, and as long as we're respectful, you know what? I think they do love me a lot. And we get along quite well, and I do call them out when it's necessary, but it's done with love and respect, and I'm so proud of this organization and YCCA and what we do to build community.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think your dad would be surprised that you ended up in this position?
Now, he knew I was in this position and terribly proud of me. And I think that I always said, Dad, let me hire you. Come to work for me. Come on. Oh, Sandra. Oh, Sandra. I know he's proud, Stuart.
That's fantastic. I want to know a little bit more about when you took this position and what do you do on a daily basis? What happens at the Yavapai County Contractors Association? Tell our audience a little bit about there. And we know that we're in one of the fastest growing counties in Arizona and in the West. And so you have to keep up with a lot of things happening all the time. So when did you start the job? And Tell me a little bit about what happens every day.
18 years ago, it'll be 18 years this October, I've been in that seat. The phone never stops ringing, probably like Sharlot Hall. People want to know where to go and what to do and how do I get out of this problem. Every day is different with homeowners calling because of unpermitted work, homeowners calling because they need a contractor, contractors calling because they need wildland urban interface information, code changes. So it is different, Stuart, every day.
Well, tell me a little bit about some of your hobbies when you're not out there helping the public through the Contractors Association or helping a contractor find the right job or navigate things. What do you like to do in your spare time?
So my spare time consists of eating cheese pizza.
Yum.
Vanilla ice cream with chocolate sauce. And do I have another yum?
Yum, yum, yum.
I love hiking. I do a lot of that. Turning on the music so loud on a Saturday morning and just blasting through the house. And what was that Tom Hanks guy where he kind of went around with the broom in his underwear?
Yeah, I think it was Tom Cruise.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
That's right.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
So some days I might be Sandy
Risky
Cruz.
business.
Yeah, that's it. But I surround myself with a handful of true friends, music, life, hiking.
Well, it sounds like a pretty joyful existence here in Prescott, Arizona. It sounds like you bring a lot of joy to people every day.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Stuart. I try.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you're doing civically around the valley and Prescott Valley and Prescott. I also noticed that if you're not doing this, are you still on the zoning board? Are you the chairwoman of the zoning board in Prescott Valley?
I am the chairwoman of P&Z for Prescott Valley.
Uh-huh.
We will rotate that off, but I will be the chair through October of 25. A lifelong learning that has been, it's wonderful. And I'm vice chair on the Yavapai County Prescott and Zoning Board.
Those are some pretty big jobs right there. And they must keep you just as equally busy as your full-time job with the Contractors Association.
They do, Stuart, because folks are coming to us with development projects and new buildings, and you need to make sure that you're doing the right thing for the support of the community. And I have to walk a fine line, and I'm proud of how I do that. And the voting is not always easy. I am not always a thumbs up affirmative voting gal. I have voted thumbs down.
Well, I served on a zoning commission in University Heights, Iowa.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is a small little burg in Iowa City. And so I learned quite a bit by sitting on a zoning commission. It's a great civic duty that you can serve the community and listen deeply to what the concerns are of the citizens.
And you're not always loved.
No, but you have been called and you step up and
yes,
you serve.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of doing that. Totally proud.
Well, that's what our citizen government is all about.
I'm on the board for Yavapai Exceptional Industries.
Wonderful.
So I'm happy to help Bill and his team over there.
That's fantastic. Well, why don't we take a break and hear a little bit more about that when we come back?
Perfect.
Thank you, Sandy. If you're looking for the store that has everything, Prescott True Value Hardware might be your answer. From having that part to fix that leaky faucet to decorating your garden with charm, they've got it all at Prescott True Value Hardware and a friendly face to match. For over 30 years, they've proudly served Prescott, supporting neighbors like you and local nonprofits along the way. So take time and visit Prescott True Value Hardware at 846 Miller Valley Road. They're more than just a hardware store. We are back on Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook and my special guest, Sandy Griffis. And we were just about to talk about some of your other charitable work and leadership you do here in the community. Tell us a little bit about outside of contracting and zoning, some of the other work that you do and giving back here in the community. I mean, you must be going 7 days a week. I know that.
Stuart, my board teases me because I'm connected 24/7. I mean, homeowners call me on a Sunday morning because they have a plumbing leak. I have to answer my phone.
Right. So tell us about this exceptional industry organization that you're part of.
I am so proud of YCCA. They were started, they formed themselves 64 years ago with a group of 5 cowboys that like to drink beer and play horseshoes, and they wanted to implement building codes. And I find that so amazing. When I came on board, they were still drinking beer and playing horseshoes. And Stuart,
good activity.
Stuart, but look at these nails. I mean, come on.
I don't see you throwing horseshoes and
you're
drinking
right.
beer.
There's no way. So we kind of changed our mode of operation. Now we have close to 500 members, and we are just out in the community daily, and these contractors donate their time, their material, their labor. They've built playgrounds and scoreboards and schools and bathrooms for the city of Prescott and restrooms, and they just step up whenever the need is there.
Well, that's an exceptional group, and I'm glad you're leading them. I think that our community is better for that. And I understand there's a gathering that happens every April called the Home Show. What's the full?
Stuart,
tell me more about this.
Is this going to be on air? We're broadcasting this all over the universe.
All over the universe.
Perfect.
People can hear this all around the world. We never know. Someone could be flying into our local airport to come to this home show.
Perfect. So April 25th, 26th, and 27th, YCCA has been putting on their very own home show for, 40-some years, 48 years, right here in Yavapai County, to share and bring to our community the industry, different workmanship ideas, different things taking place in the industry. And we have grown from, I think, they say 12 vendors the very first year to now we have over 200.
And where is it taking place?
It's been at the Findlay Toyota Center.
I would think so.
And we were their very first event.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is how can people learn more about the home show?
Call Sandy at YCCA 928-778-0040. Free admission, Stuart. We have never, ever charged.
That's wonderful. So how many people do you think show up over this 3-day weekend?
Over 3 days, we have anywhere from maybe 11 to we've had 18,000 people one year.
That's amazing.
So I venture to say this year, with everything going on and the excitement of building homes and people moving in, probably 12,000 people plus.
That's a big deal for Prescott Valley and the Prescott area.
You want to bet on a cheese pizza?
Huh?
How many people do you think? We're going to do it on air.
If you're saying 12,000?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to say this is a bigger year. I'm going to say 13.5.
Okay, perfect. You heard it here live.
All right, and whatever your favorite place is for pizza, that's where we're going.
Perfect. It's a deal.
All right. So tell me a little bit about home tours. Are there special historic home tours here in the Prescott area, or new homes that are set up each year for people to go see what the new builders are doing, or exceptional
It's amazing.
architectural houses, or what?
We were just talking our board meeting last month about putting together a home tour of homes. You know, maybe start small with 5 or 6, but we have some magnificent homes in this community.
No, I bet there are. And you know, interesting enough, I think Arizona, because of its history and that people have come here from all over the world, all over the country to settle in Arizona, and they bring their creativity, their innovation. And I think a lot of people come here and think, you know what? I couldn't build a house like this in Illinois. I couldn't build a house like this in Chicago, in Virginia or North Carolina or Vermont. But I'm in Arizona. I can do something different. And so I think that architects and designers, engineers, and just creative people have come to Prescott and all across the state of Arizona and built some magnificent, interesting homes.
There's more out-of-box thinking nowadays with ceilings and windows and different avenues. Multi-fireplace locations is a big deal taking place right now.
Right. Well, I'm interested in finding out if you get that house tour, home tour going. I think that people would be very interested to visit some of the interesting architecture and bring a spotlight to the architects and engineers and builders that are here in Yavapai County.
Love your idea. Will you be on my committee?
Well,
I'm going to sign you up.
All right, sure. Why not? It would bring Sharlot outside the gate.
Yes, it would.
And we could work the program with you, and our Sharlot Hall Museum members might be able to join in on those home tours and see some of those Victorian homes or new modern homes or classic log cabins.
And we have some beauties.
Yes, we do. And
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, all right. That's a deal. We're going to take a break here and thank some of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. For over 45 years, Blind Brothers Arizona has been the heart of window style in Prescott. From blinds, shutters, drapes, they custom design and install with expert precision. Tailored to you, whether for your home or office, trust the name locals rely on. Visit blindbrothersaz.com today or call 928-776-1845 for a free consultation. That's blindbrothersaz.com at 928-776-1845. Blind Brothers Arizona, the original since 1979. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook and my special guest, Sandy Griffis. Sandy, we were just talking before the break about the upcoming home show, but we were also talking about a very special organization that you volunteer with. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yavapai Exceptional Industries. Stuart, I'm so honored to be on that board. And Brad Newman, that we know, love, and appreciate, started that, 30-some years ago. And these are for young adults that are challenged, but they do go out in the workforce and bring in an income to help support them and their families. They have group homes for men and women, and I'm on the board, and we monitor the finances and help take care of the group homes, and it's so darn rewarding.
That's wonderful. And what's the name of it again? Will you repeat it, please?
Yavapai Exceptional Industries. And for our listeners all over the universe, Stuart, they do and take in work. I send them all of my mailings to stuff and put postage on. And it saves me time and money.
Well, I'm sure that our listeners can go online and find the website for Yavapai Exceptional Industries.
Absolutely.
And if they want to participate or help or hire anyone, then they can contact them.
And they can call me.
Fantastic. All right. So I think your service to our community is so multifaceted, Sandy. It's such a pleasure to meet you. We're going to have you back on the show, but
tomorrow?
Well, we could, but I understand you are a bit of a broadcaster yourself. I understand you're on the radio. You have a podcast. Are you on KQNA 1130 AM as well as a podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I heard you love to dance and you love music, so tell us a little bit about your show.
Love podcasting. It's called Hammer Time.
Hammer Time.
We've been on air for every Monday for 14 years.
Is that right?
Well, an hour show.
Well, you're a broadcaster too.
Stuart, my very first show, Good Morning. I am Sandy. It was even worse than that.
So when does your show air and when can people listen to it?
It airs every Saturday and Sunday morning on KQNA at 7 a.m. And I say it is the bright spot in your day. You cannot start your day without hammer time.
So do you go down to the studio or you broadcast from home?
We go to the studio.
Look at you. You are an early bird with those contractors.
So bring them in, and it's our show. We do have supportive sponsors, and I can't thank them enough for keeping us on the air.
Well, I bet you Sharlot Hall herself would have loved to be on your show. She had your kind of moxie.
Thanks,
and I think
Stuart.
she'd be there with the sun coming up and down at the radio
sweet.
with you.
Thank you.
Helping build a great community.
Thank you.
So home shows coming up here in April, 3 days at the end of April. What's the dates
April
again?
25th, 26th, and 27th.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5 p.m. Sunday, 9 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
We have a gazillion outside vendors. We have a gazillion inside vendors. Free
Right.
admission.
Well, and so after that, your big show every April, is there something that you follow it up with in the fall? Is there another big event?
No, we keep going on with education for the community.
Mm-hmm.
We're inviting the other business people, our homeowners, to events that we have where they can learn about construction contractors, how to hire, how to be safe, doing OSHA training, human resources. We kind of are doing it all.
Well, that's pretty cool. I think I'd like to invite you and your association to come over to Sharlot Hall Museum sometime. We could even broadcast live from one of the cabins. But I think it would be very interesting to get some of your contractors interested in maybe even volunteering over here. We're starting to create some education programs that possibly will involve STEM, where we can bring over grammar school age kids, high school age students, talk about what it would take to build a log cabin. What if you had moved out west with your family on a wagon train, found yourself here and you had to build a home, and how are you going to build it? And how are you going to build it correctly? It's they used to teach geometry to kids so they would learn how to
Absolutely.
build their own home.
Sign me up.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I'm ready.
All right. And we can take the roadie board out into the ranch house or Fort Misery and broadcast live from the center of campus.
I kind of like this roadie board. It's very cute.
Yeah, well, we can take it anywhere.
Okay.
We can do these shows live from wherever you want to go. And so, Sandy, is there anything else you'd like to talk about in terms of, here at Sharlot Hall Museum and our importance to the community and bringing the contractors into, we can have a contractors day, a free Saturday, and we would have your organization come on over and enjoy the museum.
Stuart, I think that's a marvelous idea. We're here to partner with you, and I know that the community is so thrilled that you are our executive director. You bring a great deal of wealth and education to us, so thank you, my friend.
Well, thank you, Sandy. I was going to share with you, I was looking in the newspaper from Friday, February 26, 1875, and here are some things that were advertised in the newspaper. Would you like to pick out a couple and share those with our listeners
Perfect.
here?
Let's
All right.
do it.
Take a look there. Let's see what was for sale in Prescott 150 years ago.
Oh, my God. Plaza Feed and Sale. Right here on Goodwin Street.
That's right.
That's right here. Look at this one. Pacific Brewery. No, that's not construction. Let's go to Fort Whipple. They had clothing, they had groceries, they had boots and shoes, tobacco and cigars.
Well, here's one here. Prescott, new goods at L. Bashford and Company. Boots and shoes,
Perfect.
hardware, nails, iron, steel, glass, horse and mule shoes and nails, coal oil, oils, paints, and varnish.
This is a cute little ad from the newspaper. This was how long ago?
150 years ago.
Wow.
February 26, 1875. Here's one for your builders. Lumber, Clipper Sawmill. First-class lumber, heavy timbers for all milling purposes. Terms, cash on delivery.
Perfect. Lumber. Let's not talk about lumber. It's going up, Stuart. The price of lumber, my friend, it's changing daily. Carriages and wagons, fishers, jewelry and watches. Okay, that's a good one. This is amazing. Here's one on Gurley Street. Oh, why am I always going to the saloon?
Well, there's a good one here called Montezuma Bar and Billiard Saloon. If you're just after you've worked a full day at the sawmill, you might go down and get some wines, liquors, and cigars for our patrons and the public.
Oh, look at this. 3,000 peach trees, 25 cents each. What a deal.
Yeah, I think so. People are starting to think about planting right now.
Shade and ornamental trees, 25 cents each. I kind of like this. Get some good whiskey.
Well, here's one from CP Head and Company in Prescott, Arizona, the largest and best stock of general merchandise ever offered in this market. Ladies furnishing goods, gents furnishing goods, military furnishing goods, and provisions and flowers, dry goods, boots, and shoes. Looks like you can even get tobacco and cigars, wine, liquors, fancy goods, guns and pistols, rifles, and blasting powder.
What would it have been like to live in this time? Do you often wonder, when you close the doors to your life, do you want to be a dog like a lot of people, or do you want to go back to this era?
I think going back to this era, I would definitely want to walk the boardwalks of Prescott, Arizona territory, 1875.
It would be kind of nifty, wouldn't it?
Hard work, but you would learn out of necessity to survive.
I'd be cooking out of cast iron pots.
That's exactly right.
And making my clothes and wearing boots.
And planting some select peach trees.
For 25 cents each.
That's right. Well, Sandy, this has been a great entertainment for me, and I love having you on our show, and I look forward to your time the next time you can come back and we can sit down and talk a little bit more about Prescott and contractors and your love of history in our community.
Stuart, you're amazing. It was my privilege and honor to be with you. Thank you, my friend.
All right, we'll see you back here.
You got it.
Arizona Roundup.
You got it.
At Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. Thank you. Looking for a fun educational outing? Sharlot Hall Museum isn't just a history display, it's an experience. From the Prescott Indians Art Market to Sharlot's Cellar, living history adventures, author presentations, and lecture series, there's something for everyone. Uncover the past and create new memories today. Visit charlottehallmuseum.org to see our full event lineup. That is charlottehallmuseum.org.
Well, that's a wrap, folks, and thank you very much for being a part of Arizona Roundup, coming your way from the historic Mile High Cowboy City in Prescott, Arizona, at the Sharlot Hall Museum. And we thank all of our wonderful citizens and sponsors of the city who help make this great program possible. You learn more here by accident than most places by design. So we encourage you to check out Prescott, Arizona, and find a way to make your way here sometime in this coming summertime. And please make sure you do stop in and greet Stuart and his staff at the wonderful Sharlot Hall Museum. Find the information and find more about their events at charlottehallmuseum.org. That's charlottehallmuseum.org. We thank you for being a part of our program. We wish you all the best and blessings. Make sure you stand tall, ride safe, care for one another, and tip your hat. It's the cowboy way. Bye for now.